This is a News 3 Now special report.
Thanks for watching this special report from Channel 3000.
There's more breaking news this evening in the coronavirus pandemic. There are now more than 1,200 positive cases across the state and 20 deaths, including the second reported death here in Dane County. We continue to update the numbers as individual counties release their totals. Right now, our count is 1,278. There have been 192 people who tested positive in Dane County, 15 in Rock and 13 in Sauk. There were 120 more cases in Milwaukee County over the weekend, most of them in the city of Milwaukee, bringing the county's total to 663 with 10 deaths there. Governor Evers says one of the agencies really struggling is the Department of Workforce Development.
Last week, more than 115,000 new preliminary unemployment insurance applications were filed with the DWD. That's 115,000 1 week. The UI call center also received more than 1.5 million calls in that same time period, which is an increase of 6,208% over their average weekly call volume. Just to underscore,
DWD is encouraging people to apply for unemployment benefits online to make the process faster and easier. They've also hired 35 more staff members to answer phones and can now get to 690 calls at once.
The United States closing in on 150,000 cases nationwide. The epicenter remains New York, where there are more than 66,000 of those cases. The naval hospital ship Comfort arrived in New York City ahead of schedule today to relieve the pressure on hospitals there overwhelmed by the coronavirus cases. FEMA tweeted photos of a shipment of protective equipment that landed in New York Sunday. It included more than 130,000 N95 face masks and nearly 2 million face masks and gowns. The president and vice president held a conference call with the nation's governors earlier today as the federal government continues to work with the states to respond to the pandemic. President Trump walked back to his stated goal of reopening the country by Easter yesterday on the advice of his task force team. The president's top health experts are warning against ignoring those guidelines, predicting the death toll could climb to hundreds of thousands in the U.S.
We have to really tell the American people that they have to do more, to stay inside, to wash their hands, to social distance, and to assume that other people are infected even if they look asymptomatic.
And small business loans will be available Friday, according to Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, 1 week after the president signed the massive economic stimulus Phase 3 bill into law. Meanwhile, General Motors released some photographs of their efforts to make ventilators and face masks after the president invoked the Defense Production Act to compel the company to make more.
British doctors say the simple machine could help solve the world's ventilator shortage amid the coronavirus pandemic. Engineers at the University of Oxford say they assembled a prototype in less than 2 hours and successfully tested it on a medical dummy. The straightforward design of the device eliminates the need for complex parts, allowing it to be made quickly and in big numbers to deal with the expected surge in coronavirus cases. Researchers say more than 5,000 machines could be created every week.
UW Health has a special team teaching medical professionals how to properly use personal protective equipment. The clinical simulation program has been offering around-the-clock training. It's helped more than 1,400 people in just the past week. The group has a training video that shows how to put on and take off the gear properly. Then participants practice putting it on and taking off practice shields and makeshift masks.
It's important to me because I want to protect myself and protect my patients, and I appreciate, what the hospital is doing to ensure our safety as well as those we care for.
Well, I think it's very important to have everybody on the same page and go through the mechanics. When it's one thing to look at a video and something else to actually go through the process.
And the program staff expect to train another 300 people in proper PPE usage.
Today is the last day that online voter registration is open. A federal district court ordered that online registration be extended to give people who are unable to leave their homes due to the coronavirus more time to register and request an absentee ballot. The extension applies to the April 7th spring election and presidential primary. Meanwhile, the city of Stoughton is combining the polling locations for wards 1 through 16 into a single location for the April 7th spring election and presidential primary. According to a release, all voters voters can go to Stoughton Wellness and Athletic Center inside the Sports Enhancement Academy gymnasium. Each of the 4 districts will vote in a designated portion of the gym. The typical polling locations will be closed.
The BBB and DADCAP say they received many complaints of retailers who are price gouging right now. That's illegal in Wisconsin during a time of crisis. Retailers are not allowed to increase the price more than 15% of the pre-emergency price unless the store's supplier increases their prices. The BBB says it's not only illegal but immoral.
People who are losing their jobs left and right, it is illegal in the state of Wisconsin. So it's not fair, it's unethical, it's untrusting. If you're going to price gouge at a time of need, consumers are going to remember that, and they're not going to want to come back and do business with you.
You can file a complaint on the BBB website. They and DADCAP will follow up with the company and can order them to cease and desist. They say they will work with local law enforcement if necessary.